Yes, you do.
Okay, fine.
As like you don't anyway. So, but yeah, we always start with a Patreon patron because you guys give us money. Thank you. By the way, thank you for your money.
Is there a nicer way to say that?
No, I just like being direct like that because
Okay,
it sounds cool. You know,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for your money, which is what I used to want to say on every birthday.
And allow me to say that we're using the money to invent other incarnations of what it is we do.
Absolutely.
Which are all in themselves experiments that we test. We battle test them, see if they work, refine them, and that takes money that we're not otherwise getting from sponsors.
No, exactly.
That's my point.
I mean,
it keeps us vibrant.
It does.
Yeah.
The Patreon people don't even know there's stuff that we've done because of you.
Yeah.
You know, which is cool. All right, let's go to Stacy Brown, who's our first Patreon patron, and she says, Dr. Tyson, captain of the Starship Enterprise, where would you go first and why? And of course, we have to suspend disbelief and say that warp is real. So traveling at beyond the speed of light is now a capability. So now that gives you the option to leave this galaxy, go anywhere you want in the observable universe.
I would stick in my own galaxy.
Oh.
Because there's not enough we know about it. So let me just know my backyard first.
Alrighty.
All right. And then I would take a tour around the galaxy.
Okay.
Just around the hood.
Around the, right.
All right.
Once around the block, James.
Once around the block. If left to the solar system's own motion, that takes about 200 million years for one trip. Cool. And so, that's still fast given the scale of all of this. But the sun and all the planets and all the comets and all the asteroids and everybody is all moving around the galaxy together.
Nice.
Okay. Now there's something happened on the internet recently. Of course, if we are going around the sun,
correct,
and the entire system is orbiting the galaxy,
right,
it means we don't complete a closed orbit around the sun. All orbits are corkscrews.
Right, because the galaxy is also moving.
Well, the solar system is moving within the galaxy. Right. So if you followed the path, so there was all this attention given to someone showing the video of this and saying, "Oh, this is a new theory of the solar system. Oh my gosh, did the experts know this?" So it's like, people, this is just two motions simultaneously.
Right.
Okay. If you do this, you go your orbit.
Right.
If you go that way, it's a straight line.
Right.
If you do this and that, you get a helix.
Corkscrew. Right.
Yeah, a corkscrew.
Right.
Right. So
it's like when you drop a ball on a plane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it goes straight down to you.
Straight down
but if I'm watching you, the ball actually went forward at 500 miles an hour.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. But so did you.
Right.
So it just went straight down to you.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's cool.
Yeah, wait. So I would do that. That's just but then I'd go straight to the center and observe the supermassive black hole dining upon stars that have come too close.
Nice.
That's what I would do.
All right. Gonna watch the galaxy have a snack. Okay. There you go, Stacy. All right, let's go to another Patreon. Tony Mirabella wants to know
Cool name.
this. That is a cool name.
Tony Mirabella.
He does sound like a Vegas act, right? That's kind of cool.
Tonight only.
That's
Tony
right.
Mirabella.
Welcome to the beautiful downtown Stardust Lounge here in Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to bring to you the one, the only, Tony Mirabella!
Yeah. And he's singing before he comes out.
Well, that talk has.
He's singing off stage first, and he comes on.
Exactly. All right. That was so stupid. Okay. He says, what do you think unlocking the secrets of dark matter could do for us scientifically? Would it lead us to being able to harness it? Wow, those are two really big questions.
How old is he? Is he some kid in a basement trying to
figure something out?
Future superhero nemesis in the making.
He's making his own little universe or something. Can we harness this?
We have no idea what dark matter is. I have my own preferences, but my preferences don't matter. What matters is what experiments are active and in progress. And right now, the going thinking is that it is a category of particle that simply doesn't interact with us electromagnetically. So electromagnetism is like light and magnetism and all the things that make atoms stick together as molecules. So you are held together by electromagnetic forces. All right. That's why.
And therapy twice a week.
No, I don't know if that's holding you together, but physically, yeah. Emotionally is another thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I don't know what's holding you again emotionally.
Right.
Physically, you're held together by electromagnetic forces. This would be a category of particles that does not interact with our electromagnetic forces, which means they just pass right on through like you're not even there.
Right.
But
so how do you observe something like that?
Gravitationally. Okay, so we have the only reason why we know there's dark matter here is because, well, we have some galaxies, but add up all the matter in those galaxies, it doesn't account for what's going on in this part of the neighborhood. Because you see galaxies from behind whose light gets lensed according to Einstein's general relativity. And you can ask, how much mass does it take? How much gravity does it take to lens by that amount? And you come up with a number way bigger than simply counting the galaxies that are there.
Right.
Something else is happening. So we call it dark matter because we don't know what else to call it. It's like I said, I've said many times, it's really dark gravity.
Right.
It's literally dark gravity.
Right.
We don't know if it's matter. The folks betting on it think it is matter, and there's a new kind of particle that we have yet to isolate. That's all. That's what
cool.
that is. So if we do
now,
isolate it, what would you do with it? You put it in your hand. No, it'll pass right through your hand because it doesn't interact with your hand. All right. So I don't know how you would contain it.
How do you contain it?
You would need a dark matter box.
Right.
But who's going to make the dark matter box? I mean, it's a philosophical problem.
It really is.
If there's a thing that passes right through you,
how do you contain it? The thing that passes through everything.
Everything.
So everything it passes through, you need to find something that
to hold the thing in.
Right.
Correct.
There you go.
You need something that interacts not only with our forces, but also with its forces.
Exactly.
That could be yet another frontier of discovery in the universe.
What is that intermediary thing?
If you were that civilization, you'd be badass. Oh my gosh. You control not only all the universe that we know about, but the rest of the universe that's influenced by dark matter. You'd be able to grab it, make dark matter planets out of it, if you could make it stick to itself. So yeah, that would be a powerful posture to purvey.
All right, so now take that and dark energy.
Is that also in the question?
Oh no, that was
no. It's not in the. I answered Vegas Act.
You answered Tony Mirabella's question. I'll move on.
All right.
Maybe it'll come up in a different question. You're like, don't push it, bro. All right, here we go. Eduardo Munoz from Facebook says, Eduardo.
He's selling.
Hello, my name is Eduardo. Perhaps you know my good friend, Kitty Soft Paws.
Who was that in Shrek?
That's what's his name? Antonio Banderas.
Banderas.
That's Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots in Shrek. That was beautiful.
Okay, so Eduardo says, can you explain to us in mortal language?
By the way, he's from Brooklyn. He's named Eddie. By the way.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
You are fantasizing about Shrek 4 or whatever.
And he's sitting in Brooklyn. He's in Park Slope somebody going, yo, Eddie. All right. Can you explain to us in mortal language how the boson gives mass to matter?
Oh.
So how does Higgs work? The Higgs boson. How does it give mass? How does it give mass?
Yeah. So let me attempt this. Okay.
That's a lot.
So you need to think of mass not as mass in the traditional sense, and not in this explanation. Think of it as inertia. Okay. So inertia in common parlance is the tendency of something to want to stay in motion.
Right.
But it's also the opposite of that. Or the inverse of that. It's the tendency of something to not want to move.
Right, to stay at rest.
Okay?
Right.
Okay. So inertia is whatever the thing's doing, wants to keep doing that.
That's it.
All right, that's it. Okay.
Inertia.
Okay.
Lazy.
So you can measure the mass of something by finding a way to measure the inertia that it wields.
Gotcha.
Okay, so now watch. Let's go to Hollywood.
All right.
And we're going to a Hollywood party.
Okay. I'm already uncomfortable. I used to have a drug problem. No, go ahead.
Pick an actor who no one has heard of that you know of.
Chuck Nice.
Okay. You acted a couple of things. What have you been in?
Oh, please, let's not embarrass.
No, tell me one. Tell me one.
I just did Kevin Can Wait.
Kevin Can Wait, the TV series.
Show,
Okay.
and it got canceled.
Okay.
I did an episode, and they were like, "Well, this is over.
This will never work. He broke it.
There we go." But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So Chuck Nice walks into a party
Right.
in Hollywood.
And
And the bar is on the opposite side of the floor.
okay.
Okay? It's a crowded party.
All right.
You want a drink.
Okay.
You walk straight to the bar.
Absolutely.
You'll get there in 10 seconds.
Of course I will.
Okay. Beyonce walks in.
Okay.
She wants to go to the bar.
Thank God, because I'm already there.
She wants to go to the bar.
Right.
But what happens? She begins to accrete
Beyonce! Oh my God,
people.
Beyonce!
That's correct. So
Beyonce, oh my God!
she can't get to the bar in 10 seconds.
No way.
She has a very high famous person mass because everyone wants to be around her. And so her posse moves slowly through the room.
Gotcha.
And if you move fast, you have low party inertia.
Mm-hmm.
She moves slow. She has high party inertia, a resistance to going fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you have low resistance to going fast. You just walk right across the thing.
Right.
So,
Or no resistance.
or no
Yeah,
resistance.
yeah, that would
Exactly.
be me.
Yeah, people, in fact,
Right.
if
Matter
you're
of
funky
fact,
smelling, they're parked away,
I was
you
going to
get
say,
there faster.
If it's me, I go straight past the bar, out the back
Out
door,
the back door.
because that's how much they actually want me at the party. Okay, but go ahead.
All right.
So this is making sense so far.
So there's, think of it as the party field. Okay?
Okay.
The party field is giving mass to the particles moving through it.
Gotcha.
Okay? That party field is like
Right, because those are
like
the
a
party,
Higgs field.
those are the party goers. Right.
The Higgs field is like
Right.
they're like the party goers in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles.
Okay?
Right.
So you got that? So if you the more famous you are, the slower you can move through a crowd because everybody wants a piece of you.
Right.
All right. So in that way, Beyonce has a very high party mass. You have a very low party mass.
Correct.
And to get everybody else in between.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of what the Higgs field is doing. It is the resistance to movement of the particles that pass through it.
God, first of all, it's just a great picture. You know,
Because we can all imagine that,
yeah,
right?
that's a great depiction.
Yeah.
And that is fascinating. Like, who thought of that?
I don't know. I might have heard it somewhere. I don't remember. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the best way you're ever going to understand.
I think so. I think
really,
so. Yeah.
that's great. That is really, really good.
Oh, and one other little thing that we learned from Jana. Okay.
Yes.
Friend of Star Talk.
Jan 11.
Jan 11. That grants particles its mass, but it's not most of the mass of the universe. Most of the mass in atoms comes from the force fields inside the atom, not from the particles themselves. Binding energy of the atoms. So yes, it gives mass to quarks and electrons and this sort of thing. Yes, the total mass of everything in the universe is not represented by the Higgs field. It's just the particles within that are out there.
Gotcha.
Okay, so just a little detail. I got straightened out on that by Jana.
That's cool, man. Well, that's all really good stuff. Man, Eduardo, I hope that cleared some things up.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more. Well, you got to take us out in that voice. Go.
Go ahead. What? Stay tuned. More Star Talk Cosmic Conundrums when we return.
I don't have the what should we call that?
That is an accent.
I guess so. I don't have the accent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Keep going. Cosmic Conundrums.
Here we are. All right, here we go. Here we go. Jenny Totten wants to know this. She's coming to us from Facebook. Hey, Neil, does time move faster at the expanding edge of the universe and slower at the center? Now, in there are some assumptions that I don't know. We might have to talk to. First of all, the center part, and I don't know. However, I love the question in terms of the expanding edge.
Okay, here's something interesting. Might not be what you were thinking.
All right.
If you're moving away from me
Right.
in an expanding universe,
Right.
and you have a clock that's ticking seconds, okay? If I watch that clock, consecutive seconds that I observe will come to me more and more delayed.
Right.
Okay? So when I observe you, it will look like you have slowed down.
Right.
But as far as you're concerned, you're just running a stopwatch. That's right. That's right. So when she talked about the expanding edge, if you're going to watch that edge, you will see things slow down in that place.
Right.
Okay? But it's not an actual edge.
Right.
It's not a physical edge. It's just a horizon where that's all that is. If you go to that edge, now you're in the middle of a new horizon that is itself whatever distance away it would need to be if you did the math on that.
Right.
So the way to answer that is, if you want to make any of that true, it's the opposite of what she said.
Gotcha.
You'd be observing objects evolve more slowly on the edge, the expanding edge, and you relative to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope, I gotta say. I like that. All right, let's go to Virgil Hayward. And Virgil says, it's pretty cool, man. I gotta tell you, these people, they're into this stuff.
We got good people.
We do.
We got good people.
Damn. He says, is there any theoretical way to destroy a black hole?
Oh, yeah.
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 Cool.
You just wait around till it evaporates.
Oh, man. Gave me the
I'm
okey
sorry.
doke. That's the
I'm
okey
sorry.
doke.
I'm sorry. It's an answer. It's the answer. You just wait around. Small ones evaporate faster.
Right.
Big ones, like the ones in the centers of galaxies, they might take, I don't know.
A trillion years?
Much longer than that.
What?
Oh, yeah.
A Google years?
Yeah, Google years. I'll give it a Google. By the way, Google people is an actual number.
Yeah.
And it was a number before it was the name of a corporation. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's spelled differently, Googol.
Right.
Google. 10
Well,
of the
they
100
actually misspelled it.
years. Yeah, they misspelled it for the company.
Right.
So Google years is a 1 followed by 100 zeros. Then you can evaporate the seriously large, massive black holes in the centers of galaxies. And yeah, then in that future, it'll be a universe with nothing, because all the stars would have died. The proton would have decayed.
Right.
So the very foundations of matter would have broken up into fundamental particles.
Right.
And
Really, all you have is particles.
particles.
That's
exactly.
all you have.
That's all you have.
Right.
Well, the fundamental particles of the cosmos. So the universe will end not with a bang, but with a whimper.
Cool.
And not in fire, but in ice.
Cool. Literally.
Cosmic conundrum. Cool. Literally. Cool.
Yeah.
That reminds me, there's a line in Back to the Future, the second one,
Right.
where I think it's the second. No, the first. Whichever one it is, Marty keeps saying, whoa, that's heavy. Oh, that's heavy. And Doc says, why do you keep saying it's, because it's 1955, right?
Okay.
Why do you keep saying it's heavy? Is something wrong with Earth's gravity in the future? That's exactly what I would have asked if I were
cute.
Doc.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
That's Back to the Future 1.
So, yeah, there you have it, Virgil. It's, wait. Is your answer. We'll
just wait around.
You gotta wait, bro.
Yeah, that's why we don't know any way to undo the black hole.
Right. The theoretical way to destroy it is time. There
Yes.
you go.
Uh-huh.
All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Lee. Lee C. Schneider
Okay.
from Facebook says, which is more likely, extraterrestrial contact celestially or interdimensionally?
Oh, definitely physically. Dimensions, no, I want it to be true.
You do.
Oh, yes. But access to higher dimensions? Come on now.
Right.
I think we even did a thing on
Yes, we did.
going to the fourth
right.
dimension
That's
from the
right.
3 dimensions, 2 dimensions.
With the sphere that drops through a piece of paper.
Exactly.
Which
And
is just a
lo-
painterly, beautiful.
you love that analogy.
I do, because it makes things
Well, let me
so
describe it for people.
easy.
So if you have a intersection of dimensions, the consequences can be extraordinary.
Yes.
So if we live inside a sheet of paper and a 3-dimensional being says, I've got this sphere And they don't even know what a sphere is. All they have are circles. Ha, 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 right? So a circle is a sphere in 2 dimensions. Or a sphere is a circle in 3 dimensions. Or you can say it either way.
Right.
So if I'm a mighty 3-dimensional creature and I take a sphere, a hollow sphere, and I pass it through your universe.
Right. My paper universe.
How would you describe this? You'd say, oh, there's a dot. Where did that dot come from?
Right.
It's mysterious.
Right.
Then the dot becomes a circle.
Right.
Now, you only know it's hollow in the inside because I have to open up a portal so you can look in. Otherwise, it's just you wouldn't know it's hollow.
Right.
But anyhow, so it's a circle. And what happens to the circle? It grows. Until what size?
Until it's the diameter of the
Until the
sphere.
full diameter of the sphere.
Right.
And then what happens?
And then it would shrink.
Shrink down and then becomes a point and then disappears completely. And you have to explain that to your friends.
Right. That is so cool.
So imagine a 4-dimensional thing passing through our universe.
Right.
That would be, how would you even describe? You'd see a cube show up in the middle of nowhere and then disappear.
Right.
Right? That would be the 3-dimensional slice of the 4-dimensional hypercube passing through our 3-dimensional world.
Wow.
So in other words, the 2-dimensional slice of the sphere is a circle
Right.
passing through your paper world.
Right.
The 3-dimensional slice through a 4-dimensional hypercube is just a cube.
Right.
So the cube will start small, get bigger,
Big,
and then shrink down
shrink.
again, disappear.
Damn. Wow.
I know. No, dimensions are cool. So
That's
I don't
cool.
know how to access another dimension. I wouldn't even know where to begin. So I will bet that we will contact extraterrestrials before we know how to go in and out of higher dimensions.
Right. But the idea would be that, so here's what I want to tack onto this, though. They would know how to observe us, but how would we ever be able to observe
If
them,
they
though?
came, if they're higher dimensions,
Yes,
they,
they're the higher
they could
dimensions.
observe us, and we would not even know they were
Never
there.
even know they were there.
Correct.
So then, okay. And so then what we would only be able to observe is what they are able to put into our...
No, not to put into it, but to pass through it.
Not
Yeah.
put in, but pass through
Correct.
our reality.
Yes. I
And
guess
then-
they could put it in our reality, but it would be so their reality is so much richer. They'd want to just pass it through.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, so let me give the paper people something to play with and just draw a circle. That,
Right, exactly.
Right,
That's
that-
not going to do much.
Yeah, right.
So we would observe that. We would never be able to observe their universe. period.
unless we had access out of our dimension to their dimension. That's correct.
Wow.
Now, here's something interesting. Ready?
Go ahead.
If you're a 2-dimensional being,
Right.
and you have skin, so you draw the skin, well, you have an insides.
Okay.
We 3-dimensional beings would be able to see inside their bodies. The heart, the lungs, the mouth, the eyes, everything.
Right.
But they would not be able to because they can only see in the paper, and they would just see the outer skin, which is just a line.
Right.
What that means is a 4-dimensional person can see every one of our organs at all times.
I feel so naked. I feel violent.
They can see inside your organs.
That's cool.
So surgery, the future of surgery could be 4-dimensional surgery, where they come at you from a 4th dimension and never have to cut you open. Think about that.
I like it.
That's a
yeah.
sci-fi story right there.
Got to tell you, never going to happen in America. Not with this healthcare. That's all I can say. Yo, that is so cool.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
hey, Lee, thanks so much for that question, man. That's very, very cool. Let's go with
Time for a couple more questions.
Okay, Mario Fierera.
Mario Fiorera.
Mario Fierera says, do you think it's possible we'll find complex organisms like fish in the liquid water masses in the planets and moons of, he says, our solar system?
Yeah. Okay, so first, a fish is a way complex organism. All right. Generally, when biologists speak of complex organisms, they're not talking about fish.
Right.
They're talking about multicellular creatures that might have some appendages. They might have, like at the Cambrian explosion of life. When was that? 450, 500 million years ago.
Right.
We went from single-celled creatures rapidly, when the conditions changed on Earth, to multicellular life. And that multicellular life had like limbs and eyes and it had features that you could talk about and point to.
Right.
Generally, we call that complex life.
Complex.
Okay, and then you want
So how about it's a single cell organism, but it has propulsion, like Celia or like,
oh, you mean a way to move around?
Way to move
No,
around.
that'd still be simple
That's
organ. If
still-
it's single cell,
Single cell
that's
is
simple.
still not. It's
Correct.
simple. Okay.
Correct. Right.
Even if it's moving or
Even it can do all that. But we're talking about I got legs
Right.
and I got eyeballs
Right.
and I got a nose and ears, that
Right.
sort of thing.
That thing.
That's complex.
features, as you said.
So
There
the
you-
question was, will we find something? Okay, I want to find life in the oceans beneath the frozen surfaces of the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, and I want there to be life there.
Mhm.
But if there isn't, okay, I'll deal. I'll recover. But
Right.
if there is life, it'll be something that swims. So our ocean has many things other than fish
Right.
that are alive. We have coral.
Right.
We have who else do we have? We have Ariel. Is there?
Sebastian.
Yeah, I can't forget
Sebastian.
Sebastian.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the hermit crab.
Right.
No, the hermit crab. Oh, he's got a Jamaican accent.
Why you do this to your father? Ariel. Your father, he loved you so much. Anyway.
So you got Ariel, Sebastian. You got coral.
Right.
You've got what else? You've
Right.
got sponges.
Sponges.
Yeah, I mean, just you got
Clams and oysters.
you got
and
SpongeBob is down there.
starfish.
Yes,
Right.
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
So who's the starfish in SpongeBob?
Patrick.
Patrick, of course.
Correct.
I was confused with Mr. Woodward.
Squidward.
Squidward.
No, I just realized I know too much about SpongeBob. That was too easy for me.
That was.
That
you
was-
didn't-
that
you
was-
didn't even.
I
Let me
didn't
think
even
about
bat
it.
an
You-
eye.
you did.
That was way too easy for me, man. That should not have
That
happened.
should not happen.
You know, we doing a show about astrophysics here, and who's SpongeBob?
Laying out the SpongeBob
Oh,
character.
Patrick, and then there's Mr. Crab, and of course there's Squidward, and oh God,
And who's the squirrel? Sandy. Sandy, of course.
That's
of
right.
course.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyhow, where was I? Where the hell was? So
You're saying if the life is going to be there, it's going to have features, and you want that.
it's like it could be. I mean, think about it.
You
It'll
want
be at least as exotic as the range of creatures that are exotic in our own ocean.
Right.
Exactly.
And
I'll give him
the
that.
funny thing is, the deeper you go in our ocean, the more exotic the life becomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the less you've seen it before. Unless they've seen you. You look exotic to them, too. We got to take a break.
thank you.
When we come back, that was not a compliment, Chuck. More Cosmic Queries, Cosmic Conundrums when we come back. We're back. Cosmic Queries, Cosmic Conundrums. Very nice. Chuck.
Yes, sir.
Bring them on. Give
All
them
right,
some more.
let's just jump right back into this. This is
These
raw.
are good questions so far.
These are very good questions so far. Ross Nippled says,
Just one thing about the previous segment's question.
Yeah.
Asking about what kind of life we might find if
Right.
we find life
If we find life.
in the oceans and things. It's not only if there's water there.
Right.
Okay. I just want to get thermodynamic on you.
Okay.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. As far as we know, whatever life is, it will require metabolism.
Okay.
All right. It'll have to process energy in some way.
Okay.
For it to process energy in its environment, there has to be a place that has more energy than in another place. So
Right.
that there's energy flow. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Like our sun.
If the entire ocean were exactly the same temperature and there were no water currents and there was no source of energy, we don't know how life could come to be or exist or even thrive.
So life does not happen without a transference of energy.
Correct. And technically you'd call that an energy gradient.
Okay.
Okay? So that's what you need.
All right.
And so under there's sources of energy from like the gravitational stress from Jupiter and from Saturn and other moons on those moons, and that pumps energy like deep in the center. And so
wait. No.
if it's hotter in the center than in the edge, then we're good.
So you mean the gravitational forces of the planet that this moon is orbiting?
Yes.
Causes
Tidal forces.
the tidal forces causes an undulation.
Yes.
That creates energy heat.
Yes.
Like when you bend a paper clip back and forth.
A better example would be when they say, if you're going to play racquetball, let's warm up the ball. And what are you doing? You hit the
You
ball.
You,
You squeeze it and it pops back in. Every
It's
time
a
you do
deformation
and a restoration.
reclamation.
And every time you do that, you're pumping energy into the ball from your racket. That's what's going on to those moons right now.
All right, that's dude.
That's dope.
That's really
That's
dope.
dope. And the hottest moon in the solar system is called Io, and it's closest moon to Jupiter.
Right.
And it's feeling this ferociously, and it's got the most ferocious volcanoes that ever were. Because it's hot in the middle, the stuff has got to get out, and it's hurling every day.
That is basically from gravity. That's all.
Gravity stress.
Gravity stress.
Yes.
Stress of gravity.
Pumping it. And it's, by the way, it's outside of the Goldilocks zone.
Right.
So we used to think, oh, you need the sun and it's got to be just right. And no, you just need energy.
Right.
People. All right. There you go. Okay.
Damn.
All right. Keep
God,
going.
I just love science. It's so good. That is just so good. All right. Roy Luckett from Facebook says this.
Roy, what?
Luckett.
Luckett? That's a word?
Yeah,
That's a name?
That's
okay.
a name, man.
All right, Roy.
Roy says, hey, Neil.
Roy Luckett. That's a cowboy name. Hey, I'm Roy Luckett.
How y'all doing?
I'm Roy Luckett.
Welcome to the Grand Ole Opry. I'm Roy Luckett.
Come on by for the rodeo.
All right. I'm going to read this just because here we go. This is what he says. Hey, Neil, let's talk about low orbit.
Nice.
And that's all he says.
Okay. So, is that all?
That's it.
Oh.
That's why I wanted to read it, because who writes that question?
That's cool. That Roy Luckett said that.
Roy Luckett. And you know what that does?
He's kicking back with a beer, and he wants you talk to me. Bring it on. Right.
That's right.
All right. So, how deep into this rabbit hole do you want to go?
I don't know, man.
All right, you ready?
Low orbit.
You ready?
Go.
I don't think you're ready.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm about as ready as I'm ever going to be.
As ready as you think you can be for what I'm about to tell you?
That's right.
All right. So, does it make sense to you that people, this is like inside baseball here, okay? Right. Just be ready for this.
Okay.
Does it make sense to you that on Earth's equator, people weigh a little less than people anywhere else on Earth because of the centrifugal force of Earth's rotation?
Okay.
Okay, the equator is moving the fastest.
Right.
Basically 1,000 miles an hour.
Okay.
Because we have 25,000 miles in the circumference. And how long does it take Earth to rotate once?
24 hours.
About 24 hours. So you divide those, it's about 1,000 miles in and out. About.
All right.
Okay? All right. If you had a different latitude, the circle you take in 24 hours is smaller. Right on down to the pole, where Santa's got no circle at all. He's just pirouetting. Okay?
Very nice.
All right. So, yes, we're rotating as a solid object, but the folks moving the fastest are right on the equator. And I forgot I did the calculation once. They weigh about, 4 ounces, about a quarter of a pound less.
That's a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. No, it's measurable. It's measurable with a household scale.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you were going to come up with some
micro.
Yeah,
something. No, it's real. It's real.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So far, so good.
So let's spin Earth faster.
All right.
They'll weigh even less.
Okay.
Poor Santa, his weight doesn't change at all.
Right. Well, because first of all, he's fat. Let's be honest.
He's just pirouetting.
Of course. Yeah.
So there's no centrifugal force on the pole.
Right.
All right. So let's rotate. Now you weigh a pound less. Or kilogram less, whatever's your favorite unit. We just keep doing this. And you can ask yourself, at what speed must I rotate Earth so that you don't weigh anything? You'll just float there on the equator. That's an askable question, isn't it?
It is.
If I'm spinning you up and you're weighing less and less and less.
Right.
You know what speed that is?
What?
You rotate the Earth once every 90 minutes.
Every night, instead of 24 hours, it's an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
And everything on Earth would just fly out into space.
Everything on the equator.
Everything on the equator, because that's right.
Everything on the
other
equator.
Stuff doesn't weigh as much.
It's okay.
Right.
All right. The other stuff doesn't have as much centrifugal force.
Right.
All right. So.
I notice. Go ahead. Keep going.
Wait a minute.
Keep going.
So if I'm on the equator now, and my feet aren't even touching the ground.
Just floating.
I'm just floating.
Right.
Yet somehow I'm staying with Earth, as you had always been, even up to that moment.
Correct.
Up to that moment, you're there. Now you just weigh 1 pound. You can jump high, but you're still rotating with Earth. You rotate Earth a little extra. Now you're just floating. I just described for you orbit.
Oh,
Low Earth orbit.
you know, I forgot that's where
That's
we
the
were
way we're
with
going.
this. That is
Do you know how long it takes the space station to orbit the Earth? 90 minutes.
so that. Oh wow, that is cool, man. I dig it.
Is
That's
that good?
it. That's it.
Is that good?
That makes sense.
Is that good?
That's good.
That's an orbit.
I love it.
Okay, so low Earth orbit is now. Of course, low Earth orbit in practice, you want to be above enough of the atmosphere, so you're not, burning up through the atmosphere.
Of course,
right? So you want to be high enough, so that you go up 100 kilometers, about 60 miles. You're high enough above most of the atmosphere, so that you can now orbit the Earth faster than the Earth would take you.
Mm-hmm.
And you complete one orbit in 90 minutes. If you're right exactly above Earth's surface, it's actually 88 minutes. Okay.
Right.
88. If you do the math,
All
it's
right.
88 minutes.
Yeah.
You go up to where the space station is about 90 minutes.
Gotcha.
Okay. All of that's low Earth orbit. LEO, we call it
Leo,
affectionately.
low Earth orbit.
Yeah. You go a little higher up,
Right.
500 miles up, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You get to MEO.
Mm-hmm.
Medium Earth, middle Earth orbit.
Okay.
Not middle Earth,
Right.
but middle Earth orbit. Okay.
Right.
And there you'll find the GPS satellites.
Okay.
All right. So they'll do an orbit. It'll take longer than an hour and a half, but slower than 24 hours.
Okay.
Okay. Then you go a little higher. You get GEO.
Mm-hmm.
Geosynchronous orbits. So these are orbits where you can do the opposite and say, if I go farther away, I can stay in orbit with a lower and lower speed. Okay? And here's Earth turning beneath my feet. Is there a distance where I can orbit exactly with the rotation of the Earth so that I take one orbit in 24 hours? Yes, there is. It's 23,000 miles up, and it's called geosynchronous orbit.
And there's the synchronicity.
There's the synchronicity.
Wow.
So you launch that satellite, it just hovers overhead.
That's very cool.
And if you park between Europe and the United States, you can beam signals up to it, and you can talk to beyond the curvature of the Earth.
That's it.
Elon Musk wants to launch constellations of satellites so that you don't have to beam out to 23,000 miles. You know why? Because if you beam a light signal 23,000 miles, that's far enough away that the round trip, you notice that in telecommunications. It's a lag.
There's a lag.
It's a lag. You'll notice it. And sometimes you'll see it in a broadcast, or even sometimes you've been on a phone and there's a lag. That's probably hitting a geosynchronous. So communication, you want the satellites to be lower.
Right.
But if it's lower, you're not always in view of it.
Right.
Because it orbits out of your zone. It doesn't stay with you. So now, if once this goes out, then you want another one coming in right behind it.
Right.
That's why Elon is launching hundreds of satellites, so that everyone has fast internet and with no lag.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Elon, and thank you, Roy Luckett.
Roy Luckett.
Oh damn, boy! I didn't know that was such a good question.
Leo, right there. That was. So how much time we got left?
I don't know. 1 minute. Okay.
1 minute. All right,
All right, here we go.
Chuck. We got time for one more question. Make it a good one,
All right.
or make it a bad one. We'll turn it into a good one.
Okay, Sean Farouk says this: Is a faraway planet? If a faraway planet emits a light of low frequency and light of high frequency, which one of them will win the race and reach us first?
Oh, the speed of light in a vacuum does not discriminate by frequency.
Boom. There you go.
However, if it goes through a medium, it does.
Gotcha.
And it is because different frequencies move through media at different speeds that the colors manifest after it comes through.
Okay.
So if you put light through a prism and you put it in at the right angle, at the correct angle, the white light comes in and the prism says, blue, you're coming out first. Red, you're coming out last. I'm spread. And since it's spread, since they go through at different speeds, all the colors reveal themselves as they come out of the prism.
There you go. Separating in the process.
Yeah. So the prism is glass.
Right.
That will air will separate the colors.
Right.
Diamond does it the best. It's the most transparent. It's the densest transparent thing we know.
Okay.
So that'll do it the most.
Slows down the light
The most.
better than anything.
And it slows down light by to 40% of its vacuum speed.
Yeah, of course that makes sense. Which is when you look at a diamond and it refracts all the light.
Yeah,
and you
the
see
light
all
reflects
the pretty colors.
all the pretty colors.
Right.
That's what's going on.
Oh,
And it does
makes
that better
perfect
than glass does.
Right.
That's why diamonds are diamonds and glass are glass.
Right.
Right.
Don't tell my wife that.
Cubic zirconium gets you halfway there. I don't know. So different frequencies of light do travel at different speeds through a medium, and just to make that clear. And so now there is medium in space, like gas clouds. When light comes through there, you get this effect. And you can get a time lag in an explosion if the explosion happens in multiple frequencies. You'll see it happen in one frequency before it does in another. And we have coordinated our telescopes to check for this.
Nice.
You have a radio telescope, a visible light telescope, a infrared telescope, and you can see phenomenon if it's coming through a medium that will differentially slow down the frequencies of light. No, it's very cool.
That is excellent.
Yeah. But in a vacuum,
So that's it. It's a tie.
the speed of light is the speed of light is the speed of light.
Speed of light. That's very cool.
Okay. Neil deGrasse Tyson and Chuck Nice.
Yeah.
Star Talk Cosmic Queries. Keep looking up. This is Star Talk with Chuck Nice.
Hey, Neil.
Chuck, always good to have
Good
you here.
to be here.
Reading at Chuck Nice Comic.
Yes, and I am the director of parts of my home on certain days of the week.
Even then, only in certain
And
hours.
certain hours of certain days. That's all I get.
So I think today is the topic is the physics of everyday life.
Yes.
Yeah, love me some physics of everyday life.
I know you do.
Oh man,
I've been around you long enough
the
to
physics
actually
everywhere.
hear you speak on the physics of everyday life, whether I want you to or not.
you know what's good about learning physics?
Yes.
It's not a satchel of fact.
That's right.
To be regurgitated. It is an understanding of the operations of nature.
That's great. I was about to say it is actually the understanding of your own experiences.
Yes, that or even things that are not your experience, things that transcend your experience.
True.
Physics is there waiting for you.
Yeah, that's what makes it so cool. I mean, there's
Yeah, but what it means is you don't have to learn every single example of how physics manifests in the universe.
Well, thank
you
God.
You can learn the foundational things and then apply that knowledge to what you see.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it, and that's why physics books are not the fattest books on the shelf. Accounting books are fatter than the complete works of physics.
right because they get to change accounting. You can't change physics. Physics is what it is.
It's what it is and what it be like.
What it be like is what it be like. But you can change accounting all you
can
want.
change. There's so many other fields where the books are just so fat and thick, and
Right.
books on human physiology. You got to learn every little. Of course, there's some systems that you learn about. You know, the circulatory system and the endocrine system and this sort of thing.
Right.
And that's very helpful for new situations. But physics is the
But even-
ultimate example of learning the basics.
Right.
That then apply to everything, stuff you've never even seen before.
And even all of those different systems actually have some applied physics at work.
Oh, okay. Let me take you there. Ready?
Okay, let's do
Okay.
it.
So biology
Yes.
is the extreme representation of chemistry.
Interesting.
Yes.
Give me 1 second, please.
Biology is chemistry come alive.
Okay, now that I've just
Think
got
about
it.
that.
It just gave me a little light bulb,
Right.
and I got it. That makes sense.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
You can have complex chemistry, but once you talk about life,
Right. That's
a whole other-
biology.
It
And-
earned its own field.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And life is really a collection of chemical reactions.
Correct. Have you ever seen the physician's desk reference, the PDR?
No, I have not.
It's a zillion pages, and it
Okay.
is every single medicine prescribable in the world, or at least in the
Is
West.
that really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And so,
And
so-
every
so,
one of-
so when a doctor looks back and you don't see what pages they're turning, they're looking at the PDR.
They're looking at the PDR.
So it's every company's medicine that gives what it is supposed to heal,
Right.
what the contraindications are, the side effects, all of this. It's in this book. So all I'm saying is, it's a reminder that we are basically sacks of chemistry.
Yes.
But the point where I'm getting at is,
Which, I mean, it sounds so derogatory when you say it like that.
now pass me my vitamin, please.
Yeah. Give it. Hey, listen here, you sack of chemistry.
Where's Yeah, we all take vitamins or some pills for some purpose,
Right.
most of us, or we eat certain foods
Right.
to get the chemistry in the food.
Absolutely.
That'll, you're drinking a cup of coffee right now.
Yes, I am. Which was
Why?
it's having a chemical reaction in my brain.
Correct.
Right. It turns off a little teeny part of your brain that says go to sleep.
So there is no understanding of biology without chemistry.
Yeah.
And there is no understanding of chemistry without physics.
Nice.
And there's a kind of audacious statement, which is really nasty, but kind of true.
Okay.
After the laws of physics, everything else is opinion.
Ooh, damn. Ooh,
Yeah.
That's a drop the mic.
That's
type.
a drop the mic.
Man,
and it's kind of
You
like.
know who made that saying up? A physicist. Clearly.
In your opinion. All right, so give it to me. We solicited these from our fan base. I haven't seen the questions yet, as usual. So what do you have?
And of course, we always start with a Patreon patron.
Patreon.
Because if you support us on Patreon financially, we give you preference to
I think they get more than that. It's not just they get their question answered. There's like a whole list of stuff.
There is. I mean, you know,
and at one level, they get invited to our holiday party.
that is correct.
Yeah.
If you give enough,
Is that right? Just verifying?
if
Yeah.
you give enough money, you get invited to the Star
If
Talk.
you give $1 zillion.
right, a kabillion,
a bajillion.
a bajillion. Is
There you
that
go.
is that a real
That's
word?
the biggest number ever.
That's the biggest number. Bajillion.
Bajillion.
That's cool. I like it.
If you're 8, that's
Right,
the biggest number
exactly.
ever.
Bajillion. My God. And really, it's like 8. It's like, you know, there's 16 of them.
Right.
Like, that's to a kid. It's like my son. I told my son I was 30. He was like, you're going to die soon. Right. And mind you, I'm like much older than 30. Why am I lying to my son about my age? I don't know.
Don't trust anyone older than 30.
There you go. That's it. There you go. All right. So Renee Douglas from Patreon says this: why is the periodic table of elements not an exact rectangle? My OCD will not let this go. Missing elements or what? Who cares? It should be a rectangle. All of a sudden, at the end, she started sounding like Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with the rectangle? Why? Who are these elements?
Okay, then we should call it the periodic irregular table.
Right.
So I'm with her on this. There's the urge to want nature to be symmetric in its beauty, and beauty in its symmetry.
Wow.
That sentence is symmetric.
That it is. Yes, it is. It is symmetric and in a mirrored way.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. When we were filming Cosmos, one of the scenes was in a forest in Northern California.
Nice.
And I'm looking at the tree. I'm from the Northeast, and we don't have California trees here.
Okay.
Our trees are kind of raggedy, kind of gnarly raggedy,
exactly.
compared to the mighty redwoods and other,
They don't see the trouble that our trees see. Our trees see a great deal of trouble here.
Our trees are like
Our trees are
seen the
grizzled.
Northeast
That's
issues.
right. They're grizzled veterans of nor'easters and hurricanes and like harsh winters. You talk to a tree in the Northeast, going to be like, "I'll tell you what I've seen. I've seen some
that's the old tree on the front porch,
Right, that's,
in the rocking chair.
Yeah, our trees are like the 2 trees in the 2 towers of Lord of the Rings. You know, just like I remember a time long ago.
Wait, slow down. You're talking too fast.
I
for
know
me.
that's true for those right, for the trees. Yeah, yeah. Redwood trees are just like
they're just badass. It's like I'm here and nobody mess with me.
because they get to grow unfettered by anything.
Plus, they have fireproof bark.
Wow,
You try to burn a redwood, it's like, there you go.
that's sweet.
Go on around,
That's
as you keep going, keep
going,
moving.
right.
There's nothing to see here.
That's
Yeah, they have
amazing.
fireproof.
They need to
bark.
make all of California out of redwood tree
redwood
bark.
bark.
Yeah.
Right. So here's my point. Some of the trees, and I'm not a botanist, so I can't identify what tree it is. The bark had striations that spiraled in one direction around the tree.
Cool.
And I'm thinking, if nature itself were symmetric, that could never happen. These things are twisting on their way as they grow.
Right.
In one direction and not the other direction, and nothing else was twisting in the other direction.
Right.
It means at the molecular level, you have asymmetries in the foundations of nature.
Nice.
Now, here's something I read, but I'm not a chemist, so I've just read this. Okay?
All right.
The molecule
Okay.
that you taste as spearmint,
All right.
if you took
I
the
believe
mirror
that's
image,
That's the double mint molecule. But go ahead.
If you take the mirror image of that molecule, make that molecule.
Right.
If you write down the chemical formula, it'll be the same because the chemical formula doesn't tell you how to build it.
Right.
The spirals in it. Okay.
Right.
It's just the same number of carbon, same number of hydrogen, same number of everything. If you build the mirror image of it and taste that,
Tastes like poop.
it'll taste like caraway.
Caraway.
And so this is an asymmetry in nature. You don't taste the same thing because of the mirror image of one molecule versus another. So the universe is full of asymmetries. And do you know our amino acids have a handedness to them? These are the building blocks of our protein.
Right. So there's a left hand and a right hand.
All amino acids of all life on Earth is one-handedness.
Right.
Okay? There is no life that's the other, but there's no reason in principle why you could not make it so.
Right. Yeah.
Because it would just be, we're right-handed, it'd be a left-handed, just the way it spirals in a mirror, okay? I mean, the way it spirals versus what it would do in a mirror.
Right.
So this, it's intriguing because if you find life on another planet and it has the other, it's called chirality, then you know it didn't come from us. We had nothing to do with it.
We had nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
because it's a different handed.
it's a different handedness, right?
Right. Wow. So what is the
And
sound?
what we're not sure about is whether if you eat the other life,
Right.
Because that's what all we do is eat other life.
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what. If
I mean, if it's not alive and you're eating it, then you're probably going to have a little trip to the hospital. 'Cause it's
no,
Lego.
look, the only thing we eat that was never alive is salt.
True.
Okay, everything else was once alive or
That is
derived from
true.
something
That
that
is
was alive.
true. That is true.
Right. So
Even pepper comes
yeah,
from
pepper
a
was a
seed.
plant. Yeah, it was a
That's
plant.
a seed.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
that's Interesting.
That's why salt and pepper are not really equal partners.
No, they're not.
Right.
No. Salt is cheating. Pepper gave its life to be on that table.
On that table.
Right.
Right.
Salt just showed up.
It just showed up for the
Right.
party.
That just like white salt. No, I'm joking.
What?
That is so white as salt.
Actually, there's black salt. I got black salt.
Oh,
I got black salt and red salt.
and there's pink salt, too,
There's Himalayan salt and there's Hawaiian salt.
Nice.
It's pink salt.
Yeah. Wait a minute, man. How racist are you that your salt is black? Seriously? All right.
All I'm saying.
How are you saying this?
Another asymmetry in physics. Okay.
Okay.
Do you realize an electron is a positive charge?
Yes.
I'm sorry, negative charge.
Negative charge, right.
So now watch. I can draw field lines coming off the electron, and there'll be straight lines coming out. They call it the electric field lines, and that's fine. I have a formula that describes that. Okay. Electricity and magnetism are two sides of the same coin.
Right.
That's why we have the word electromagnetic.
That's right.
Electromagnetic. That's why we have that word.
Right.
Okay. So if things were symmetric, I should be able to find just a negative pole of a magnet. Just the same way I have a negative charge on an electron.
But you can't.
You can't.
Because the moment you have a magnet, you got to have two poles.
Exactly. So get yourself a magnet, bar magnet, horseshoe magnet, I don't care. There's a plus side and a negative side. Cut it in half. Now you have two magnets with a plus and a minus side. Cut them in half. You have four magnets, each with a plus and minus side. You cannot cut off the negative from the positive in a magnet. But you can in electricity.
Right.
That shows up in the formulas as an asymmetry in what's called Maxwell's equations. They're
pretty
not
cool.
symmetric.
That's awesome.
And as a physicist, you got to get over that when you first learn his equations.
All right.
So getting back to the woman's point, the periodic table of elements has a remarkable and profound level of symmetry in it. The reason why it wraps around to another row
Yes.
and certain elements line up
Right.
in columns is because the elements that line up in columns have the same mating properties with other elements.
Right.
Okay, have you heard
So
about...
you can combine them.
Right, so take carbon, for example. We're a carbon-based life.
Mm-hmm.
You've read, if you're a science fiction fan, you'd think about silicon-based life. You ever hear about silicon?
Right, yes.
Did they just pull that out of the ether? No, silicon sits below carbon on the periodic table, directly below it. It makes the same families of molecules that carbon does. So they're saying, if we're carbon-based life, why not swap a silicon atom in with the carbon and make all the same molecules?
Right.
And then you'd have life based on silicon rather than carbon. The periodic table of elements captures this fact in its structure and in its form. As you get to heavier and heavier elements, things get more complex. They get, and so you have entire groups of elements that all behave in the same way.
Okay.
So how you can't, you're going to shoehorn them into one column? You can't, because now they're next to each other. So you have these things that spread out underneath. There's the two, so the lanthanide series and the, so just if you go back to your periodic table, you'll see these. rows of elements not sitting in with the other rows of elements.
Okay.
And we're still discovering elements.
Right.
So,
and sometimes creating elements.
oh, sorry. And we're creating elements. We are better at nature at creating elements on the periodic table than nature is.
Wow.
Did I say that right? We are better at creating elements than nature is.
Right.
Yes.
Nice.
That's why. So we've got like 20. What are we up to? Yeah. No, about 30 artificial elements now.
Wow. Look at that.
And they're real.
Yeah.
They made electrons, protons, neutrons.
So
and they're sitting there.
That's
yeah.
cool. Oh, look at us playing God. Now, well, that was a great answer to a really cool
That was a long answer, too.
Who cares? It was fascinating. That's all. No.
Yeah, so I'm saying
We're about quality, not quantity.
So it's if you have issues with asymmetries in nature,
Right.
then you're in the wrong universe.
You're in the wrong universe.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm
Right.
sure that there is a someplace in the multiverse that is just right for you, Renee Douglas.
Oh, by the way, just a quick thing. Isaac Newton was a big fan of God,
Yes.
as everyone was in the day.
Well, of course,
So
you
it's
had-
not isolating him
Right.
in particular in this regard,
Right.
but everybody was a God fan back then.
Right.
So he was
God, dude. I'm such a fan. Oh, God, what's up? Such a fan, dude. Love your work.
friend me. That's right. Okay. So, yeah, love your work. Right. So, a lot of in Newton's writings, he's extolling the beauties of nature
Right.
as the handiwork of God.
Right.
And in one place, he comments about the beautiful symmetry that the human form takes,
Right.
left and right.
Yeah.
But he has to then say, but only on the outside.
Only on the outside, right.
Right, because the inside,
The inside
you know,
is
we have
all
like
messed up.
Right, yeah. There's
Right.
there's some things that are symmetric, but not
Right
really.
down to your heart, where one side is bigger than
One
the
side
other.
and is louder than the
Right,
other.
exactly.
You only have one liver,
Right.
and that's
Yeah, the inside of your body kind of looks like Jeff Bezos' eyes. You know?
What?
I'm just saying. He's got like one tiny one and one big
So
one. I'm
your
just-
organs are sort of mildly symmetric, and
Never
there's a
seen
lot
his
of,
eyes. His eyes are so weird.
and we're not 50% left-handed and 50% right-handed.
No, we're not.
Right, so there's some asymmetries going on. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he had to sort of accept that from his praise of God,
Right.
because he assumed that God is
That
perfect.
there's a plan.
And God plan, and the
Right.
plan would be symmetry. Same with the Vitruvian Man that is
That's
widely associated
what's
with
it, Da Vinci?
Da Vinci, right?
Right.
With the man with his hand sticking out,
Right.
left and right, centered on a circle. So the idea was your belly button, because if we're divine, then our form would be geometric. So your belly button would be the center of a circle that you could trace with a compass. And then your arms extend and your legs out would further trace the circle.
Right.
And this was the perfect human form.
Had Da Vinci ever met a human being?
No,
Because
this
there's
is the-
no
this
one
is
who
the
fits
urge.
that.
This is the. No, he drew it, but he didn't come up with it. It,
Right.
it long predates him.
Okay.
So, from what I've read, it long predates him. But so my point is, when you actually do that with actual people, belly buttons are not in the same place. People have longer arms, shorter arms,
Absolutely.
relative to their height.
Right.
So you want it all to be perfect because you have a philosophical urge for nature to be symmetric and perfect.
Yeah.
And if that's what's driving you, history tells us you're just going to get the wrong answer.
Right.
So get over it. So in physics, we get over it early when we first learn Maxwell's equations.
Sweet.
Man, that was a whole
We did
segment
one
of
segment
one.
on one
Oh,
question.
man. Oh, that ain't right.
But that's why the show is good.
That ain't right. Okay.
We could do cosmic queries forever.
What? Oh, you could do forever.
Yeah.
Who's the one answering the question? I'm glad you think.
Why do you think we could do it forever?
I'm glad you think we can do this
Yeah,
forever.
it's nothing for me.
When we come back, more cosmic queries, the physics of everyday life, when Star Talk returns. We're back on Star Talk, Cosmic Queries. In this edition, it is the physics of everyday life. Chuck, I love me some physics of everyday life.
Yeah, man. So do I.
Yeah, yeah.
This is really good stuff.
Okay, so what do you
let's-
have?
Let's jump right
Bring it right back.
And this is Raphael Katabak from Facebook. And
You've been
he
practicing, Chuck. I'm very
says,
impressed.
"Nah, not at all. You know?
All right, what do you have?
I mean, it probably says Smith there as far as I know. But anyway, if we were visited by a more advanced alien race, what do you think they will admire most about humans? And with regards to our current scientific knowledge and understanding, what particular theory or law do you think they might disprove?
Oh, interesting.
That is that's
that.
a great question.
I'd like that. So
It would have to
if I
be-
may be cynical,
Cynical.
may I? Only with your permission.
Go, please. I'm all about it. It's rare that I see you actually admit to being cynical.
I think aliens more advanced than us would be impressed how far we've come.
For being such dumbasses.
For
being such dumbasses. You were trying to find out a very diplomatic way to.
far we've come in spite of ourselves.
Exactly. That's what I said.
I think they would have said, we never thought you'd get there.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because you've been on Earth for you've had what you call civilization for thousands of years.
Wow.
And it took you 10,000 years of civilization before you even visited the moon. You could have been there a long time ago.
Right.
But let me just be happy with what you did achieve.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What? Imagine if we'd landed on the moon 2,000 years ago.
No, I'm imagining right now.
Imagine if the Romans had rockets.
Yeah, but I'm imagining right now, just where we
Imagine
are.
if the Egyptians said, let's leave Earth.
Well, they did. They were aliens.
Well, that's true. They were born
Yeah, right.
Aliens had a thing. I saw Stargate.
There you
It's
go.
true.
Right, exactly. They had a wormhole, so we can't really. But anyway, no, think about it. Look at all the technology that we have right now. And if we were to take all of the energy that we put into trying to destroy one another and keep one another from advancing, and we were to take all of that energy and just pour it into humanity.
Not just pure physics energy, but intellectual.
The political energy that we expend.
Cultural, political, and financial capital. That we have used to destroy one another.
Exactly.
Imagine.
If just take that.
Imagine.
And it was all pointed at the propulsion of the human race in a positive direction.
You want me to quantify this?
Oh, snap.
You ready?
You've been thinking about this.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. In today's dollars, you know what it costs to go to the moon in total?
No, I don't.
$100 billion.
Who are you, Dr. Evil?
Dr. Evil. Ooh, okay, so we went to the moon on $100 billion. The entire U.S. interstate system is $100 billion.
Wow.
Okay. $100 billion is 1/6 a single year's allocation of the military budget of the United States.
All right, that's disgusting.
It just is.
Ugh.
It just is.
You should have never.
No, I used to judge that, but I stopped judging it. You know why?
How can you not judge that?
I'm going to tell you why.
Please
I'm going to tell you why.
Please, you should be judging that.
I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, you tell me, because
I'm telling you.
that's deserving of judgment.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Okay. What are we in 6th grade? I said it first. I know you are, but what am I? So, where does the budget come from? It comes from Congress.
Where does Congress come from?
We vote for Congress. So what does it mean? What does it mean?
That's very funny.
That's what I'm saying. As an educator,
I got to stop judging it now.
That's what I'm saying.
Ugh.
Dude.
We're such
the collective representatives of the electorate allocates this money.
Oh my
And they all agree to it.
Raphael, you sent us the most depressing question ever.
Wait, but I didn't finish answering, so I think they'll be happy. Yeah, we would have been on the moon 4,000 years ago.
Right.
It would have been like cavemen next chapter
Absolutely.
2.
Right. We would have been on the moon just going,
fire.
Right.
Fire on the moon.
Rock. Yeah.
Okay, that's A. B. I think they would be impressed with our engineering ingenuities.
Okay.
So, because that's not the laws of physics now, because they would know all the laws of physics that we know.
Absolutely.
And then some. Oh, by the way, the laws of physics is not later shown to be false. When we demonstrate a new theory of the universe, it's because it has been experimentally verified multiple times by competing factions, and we say, this is how it is. We're moving on from here.
Okay.
What can happen is you have a deeper understanding of the world that encompasses this smaller understanding that you have that works. That can happen. It happens all the time.
Right.
Okay, all of Newtonian physics got subsumed into Einsteinian physics.
Right.
But Newton is not all of a sudden wrong
Right.
in all the regimes in which it was tested. So, I think they'll say, not that you're wrong, oh, you think this is the full story? There's a bigger story. You got the Big Bang starting the universe. No, we got multiple bangs. We have higher dimensions. We got this. We got that. And you're just one little cog in this much larger wheel. That would be highly enlightening for us.
Right.
On a scale of learning, and this is an unheralded point of discovery in the history of my field. In the 1920, the year, going into 1921, we did not know whether spiral fuzzy things in the night sky were just spiral fuzzy things in our galaxy or entire other spiral galaxies in the universe.
Wow.
There are people alive today who were alive before we knew that our galaxy was one of only 100 billion in the universe. So the idea that you're not alone in some concept, we've been hit with that multiple times before. So the astrophysicists, we'd be ready for it. We'd love it to death.
Right.
But there's some people who are kind of happy with their contained knowledge of what is and is not.
Exactly.
But just have to get over it.
Don't make me think about something other than what I
already can think about and already can grok.
I've actually accepted this.
This, correct.
Right. The Earth is flat. That's it.
So the other part of that question, so I think they'd be impressed with some of our engineering technologies.
Okay.
I think they would like the smartphone. I think they'd be impressed with that.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's pretty cool. Even though we all know that, Steve Jobs got that idea from an alien because it was one. So, all right, cool, man. Okay, I'm going to read this anyway. Kevin Miller from Facebook wants to know this. Assuming the Earth is flat. That's a big assumption, Kevin. I just love any question that starts off with assuming.
All right, let's go there. Let's follow.
But I know
Let's follow the reasoning.
One of the things I like about you is that you'll take these and do something with it. All right. When the ice melts at the poles, where is all the water going to go?
I have no idea.
Exactly, because the Earth ain't flat. No,
it seemed to me it would spill off the edges.
Right? I mean, seriously, if the Earth were flat, it'd be like a table, So
yeah, you spill some on a table, it goes,
where's it
spills
do?
off
It
the
spills
edge.
off the edge. Yeah.
I'm thinking, unless you build a dam.
So now the Earth is not flat; it's more like a pie dish.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, it's got edges to it.
It's got edges.
And beyond there be demons.
Why do I feel like Jack Sparrow right now? And beyond there,
beyond there limits.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go, Kevin. There you have it. All right. That's
it's a pie plate.
It's a pie plate, bro. That's all we can do for you.
All right. Give me another one.
All right. Here we go. Let's move on to Nader's 19872 from Instagram. How far away would a black hole have to be in order for our solar system to fall into it? I also have another question. Why are you so awesome? I love Star Talk, and you are just one of my heroes.
That
That last part was for me.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, no.
No, did he really say that?
Yeah, I'm serious. He was talking to you. I was joking. Yes, he's saying you are one of my heroes, and I really love Star Talk.
Okay, no, we appreciate that. And let the record show that you were reading that question, whether or not he appended it with that sentence.
Well, he didn't write it to me. So
I'm just saying.
You don't know the questions.
We don't boost questions up just because you're saying nice things.
Well, we do boost questions up if you're saying nice things about Chuck Nice, because I'm the one who's reading the damn questions.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But
so thank you for those kind words.
Okay. So now the question after the kind, or actually preceding the kind words, was how far away would a black hole have to be in order for our solar system to fall into it? I think what he means instead of how far, how close.
Yeah. So
would it have to be? Is what he really
same idea.
Same thing.
So that's not how black holes work.
Right.
Okay. Black hole is not some giant sucking machine. We're getting
like my career. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm laughing at my own.
We love you, Chuck.
Okay.
Chuck, you're a hero on our podcast, no matter what else is happening to your career. I don't know.
No matter how far in the toilet your career may be, Chuck.
Did you get booed off this comedy stage last night?
No, actually, a really good show.
A good show. Very nice. Very nice.
So anyway, it doesn't work.
Should a comedian be the one who judges whether the comedian has a good show?
No, yes, the comedian is always the one who judges. Okay. Because here's the great thing about being a stand-up comic.
Okay.
You always know, and you can, and I love young comedians because they get off the stage and they immediately lie to themselves, and they get off the stage and they look at you and they go, Yeah, so that felt good, right? And I'm like, why are you asking me? It felt good. It felt good. You don't need my permission for it to feel. You know you suck. You know you suck. What is your problem?
Chuck,
Anyway,
the mentor.
no wonder no one comes to me for advice. All right. Anyway, back to Nader's 19872.
Black holes are not some giant sucking machine.
Okay.
So they have a gravity commensurate with their mass, like anything. You have gravity.
Yes, I do.
The moon has gravity. Earth has gravity. The sun has gravity.
Anything with mass. Has gravity.
Anything with mass or energy has gravity because energy and mass are the same. Equals MC squared.
That's right.
So you can ask how much mass does the black hole have? And if it has a planet's worth of mass, it could just hang out in our solar system like another planet.
Right.
If it has a star's worth of mass, it might accrete planets to orbit it. If it has
Interesting.
So
It could even have a galaxy's worth of mass.
a galaxy's worth. We have a supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy. So you don't want to get too close to it because there are places where they're no longer stable orbits. And then you fall in.
Then you fall in.
But you can calculate what that distance is, and it's not too hard to stay away.
Right.
It's not that hard.
Right.
Otherwise,
It's not like it's a siren. Like you don't have to lash yourself to a mast and just like I'm going to hear the song.
You're still going classical voyages here.
I am.
Oh, weren't they the sirens? No, the sirens.
Yes, the
sirens.
sirens.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Nothing gets sucked.
So here's the thing. If
It's
I
not
turn-
just sucking stuff in.
If we turn Earth into a black hole, it would be like the size of a plum. Last I calculated. So
Ooh.
and the moon would still orbit it. The moon wouldn't
wouldn't
care.
fall in.
Wouldn't care. It's only responding to the mass and the gravity that it so what makes black holes interesting is that you can get really close to them and get ripped apart and spaghettified. Okay, you can't get closer than Earth's surface to Earth's center of gravity. Okay,
okay.
You'd have to shrink Earth
Right.
to get closer to it. Shrink it down to a plum. Now you've been spaghettified.
Wow.
So all the interesting stuff that happens with black holes is because you can get really close. Otherwise, you're hanging out where you've always been. You are perfectly safe. Don't have nightmares about
it
it.
doesn't do anything to this.
Yeah.
Like it never.
If I had Earth as a plum, if I took another planet, take Venus, made a black hole and brought it here,
Right.
and let go, it would fall through the Earth and eat Earth Swiss cheese style as it bounced back and forth, and it would systematically dine upon all the physical contents of the Earth until Earth plus Venus became one.
A big right. So you'd have the merging of those two.
Yes, and it become like the size of an orange or something.
So the black hole would actually increase in size itself.
Physically.
The physical black hole would increase in size.
Yes.
If you were to merge two black holes.
It turns out to be linear with mass. So a black hole that's twice the mass will have twice the diameter.
Wow.
Turns out, if you do the math.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
And the diameter is the diameter of the event horizon.
Right.
Got to say that.
That sounds cool.
Okay, we're out of time for that segment.
Okay, once again.
When we come back, more cosmic queries on the physics of everyday life. Star Talk returns. We're back. Star Talk, Cosmic Queries, the physics of everyday life edition.
All right, let's move on. This is Total Nerd 52.
Love total nerds.
Total Nerd.
Proud of it.
Yes, as opposed to his
Partial nerds.
Right. Yes.
Or weekend nerds. I want the total
I want a
24/7.
total nerd, not a quasi nerd.
Uh-huh.
What degree can you do more with? A physics degree or a mathematics degree?
Physics degree.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, are you biased?
Some things are objectively true in the world. Let's say it another way. In spite of what it might seem like to your parents, if you choose to major in physics or math, both of them are highly employable by people who know and understand the brain wiring that emerges for having done so.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yes.
Mathematicians and physicists are problem solvers, and
Yeah.
engineers are problem solvers.
Right.
They can see problems in ways others have not. And it's just that physics has more places to plug into
More
the
applications.
operations of society
Right.
than does a mathematician. That's all. But in either case, you don't see either mathematicians or physicists as on the street
Begging.
begging.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
You'll find artists, you'll find musicians.
We'll
you'll find-
calculate for food.
That's right. We'll
Right.
recite digits of pi for right. No. So
For pie.
for pi. Haven't had pie all day.
Pie all
How many
day.
digits can you do? So it's a reminder that there's certain professions that fundamentally plug in to civilization, and others that become a part of civilization because we choose it to. So we embrace music.
Right.
We embrace art, the kind of art that is not otherwise self-sufficient. So I'm not talking about pop music.
Right.
I'm talking about, orchestral music that generally is performed in institutions that require funding.
Right.
Yes.
And that funding normally comes from someone who gives a great deal of money to make that happen.
Correct.
Because it can't sustain
It doesn't
itself,
sustain itself.
Through the appetite of the public.
Yet the city in which you find those offerings of art boasts that they have those offerings of art.
Right.
It's in the catalog.
Exactly.
We have this Philharmonic Hall,
exactly.
and we have
Boston
this
Philharmonic,
and we have this art museum, and we have all these institutions.
Right. That's what makes us a cosmopolitan destination.
Correct. So it's an interesting difference that we have art and science in the same phrase. I went to the College of Arts and Sciences at the University of whatever. The arts and sciences go way back as a paired thing. We have Leonardo as the epitome.
Right. Actually combining the two. And
Combined two. He's one of the greatest examples of that. So I'm just saying a society has to want to embrace its artists in order for them to manifest as a fully expressed employed community. Whereas financial forces can drive your interest in having an engineer or a physicist on staff.
Absolutely.
For example, Mayor Bloomberg.
Yes.
Former Mayor Bloomberg.
Yes.
Okay. Successful businessman.
Very much so.
Very much so.
Billionaire.
Multi-billionaire.
Like a real billionaire, not like some other people.
Some other people you heard of.
I'm very rich. Very, very rich. Normally when people tell you they're very rich, they're me.
They ain't.
Right, they're me. Like, yo, don't look at that. I'm very rich.
So here's the thing. When he built his company,
Right.
he could have hired MBAs who know their business, but that's not who he hired.
Who did he hire?
He majored in physics and engineering at Johns Hopkins University.
Okay.
He hired mathematicians, physicists, and engineers,
Wow.
and would teach them the business side of the world. But he needed people who
Problem solvers.
would go with gnashed teeth
Right.
and attack a problem they've never seen before.
Right, right.
And my wife was one of those earliest employees.
Get out.
She has a PhD in mathematical
Well,
physics.
I knew that. I didn't know that
Yes.
she worked for Bloomberg in
Yes.
the early days.
When she was there, Bloomberg had 100 employees.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
She got more money than you. Now I know.
So she was early in on that, and he
Wow.
recognized what she could bring to the table there.
Interesting.
As others that she worked with. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So go for it.
physics. Go.
No, either. Do either. Do if you're gonna pick one of those, pick the one you love and do it.
And do it. Okay, cool.
Okay. And you'll be better at it than others, and people will beat a path to your door. Give me some more.
Okay, here we go. Why haven't there been a greater number of advancements on solar energy, given it's literally a constant free source of energy?
Yeah, the source of the energy is free, but the devices to convert it into useful forms,
Right.
given the economics of what is going on right now, has not yet reached that tipping point. So right now, sort of the wealthy class that has the luxury of being green without regard to its impact on your pocketbook, they're the first adopters of the electric cars and the electric this and the solar panels and the like. What is missing from the equation is how much our tax money throughout the last century has subsidized the oil and gas industry.
There you go.
Okay, we built the roads, bought the car that now we put their gas in. They didn't build the roads.
That's right.
Okay, so the question is, can and should society subsidize the solar energy universe in the way we have subsidized all the
fossil
rest
fuels
the
industry.
fossil fuels industry?
Yeah.
And in doing so, would that tip the economics in the favor of solar panels and solar energy?
That's a great point, man. Yeah. By the way, that was George Xenophontos who actually.
Love that name,
is
Xenophontos. Oh, man.
Yeah. And by the way, yeah, getting a tan is free. Solar power is not.
Yeah, so the sun's energy is basically limitless.
Right.
But the also you have to be able to transport energy, move it from where it is to where you need it. And solar power exists when the sun is out and it's daytime, you know, so where you're getting your energy at night.
Well, you
so you
have
got to
to
be able to
develop
store the
batteries
energy.
with it.
Yeah, so battery technology is a century behind other technologies.
Right.
So there's still some
But wouldn't you see a proliferation of new battery designs and an improvement in battery life if you were to see the same burgeoning of solar power? I think one would drive the other.
Possibly, except we already have a huge demand for batteries. We're using more batteries today than ever before.
This is true.